Okay, I'm gonna rant about Yu-Gi-Oh real quick. I've got 5 minutes. Okay, so. Oh my god, this show has never heard of the word filler. It has no idea what that means. Every second of that show is cram-packed, full of action and plot. Here's the character, like episode 1 throws so many characters at you. First off, Joey doesn't know how to play, so Yugi's teaching Joey how to play Duel Monsters. The game is not called Yu-Gi-Oh, it's called Duel Monsters, which is incredibly creative. I'm sure there will be filler later on, but like for season 1, it is breakneck speed, plot, 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 character, 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 plot, plot, a little background, a little context, because good lord, by the time they give you a flashback and a little bit of context, you're starving for it. You are like, please, please, I'm so hungry. I don't know what's happening. And so Joey and Yugi are playing Duel Monsters, and Kaiba, Seto Kaiba, sitting in his chair being like, meh, 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 meh. I'm so bad guy coded. My only personality trait is villain. Wait, what is that, Yugi? Your grandfather has a super secret, rare, amazing card? I bet I know what that is. And then they all go to Grandpa's shop, and Grandpa's like, here's my most prized possession in the whole world. It's my blue eyes white dragon, of which there are only 4 in existence. Who should bust through the door of that shop? Seto Kaiba, with a suitcase full of cards. Not money, cards. Because in this world, it's that serious. A suitcase of money doesn't mean anything in this world, but a suitcase of Duel Monster cards, now we're talking, right? So he busts in and is like, give me your most prized possession right now, I will give you all these cards. And everyone's really impressed, but then Grandfather's like,
I can't, it's not about the card, this is from like my closest friend in the world.
So Kaiba's like, okay, then I'll write you a check. What do you want? How much money do you want? $9 million? Because I will give you that for the card. And then Grandfather's like, no. There's no amount of money, so shoo, whatever. And Kaiba goes, rah, 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 and then he leaves, right? And he does that the whole way out the door. And then he does a little, I'll be back, you haven't seen the last of me. He's, like I said, only personality trait at the beginning is villain. That's it. He's in high school, okay? He's in high school, so he's a minor. He is the CEO of a massive tech corporation. This minor, this teen, is like a billionaire. And a lot of grown adults' boss. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in because they talk about it so casually, like it's not shocking. And it's very shocking and unusual, but it's fine. So then, Kaiba has him kidnapped. They kidnap a grown human man so that they can play Duel Monsters against each other. And for whatever reason, I guess because he's kidnapped and he doesn't have any other options, Grandfather plays Kaiba, and he loses. And he loses because, again, for whatever reason, he agrees to betting his blue eyes white dragon on this match. But whatever. So, kidnaps this grown-ass man, makes him play a card game, he loses. Kaiba's like, yes, I win your blue eyes white dragon. Ha ha ha, there's only 4 in the world, and I have the other 3. This was the last one in the world that I didn't own. Now nobody else in the world can ever use a blue eyes white dragon against me. What do you think he does with that card? Maybe puts it in his deck with the other 3 so that he has all the blue eyes white dragons in the world in his one OP unstoppable deck? No, that motherfucker rips it in half and throws it away. Why? I mean, it's a power move for sure. It's a power move. You know, it really did. It had us shook. So I guess he made his point. But are you dumb? I mean, he's clearly not dumb because later on, there's so much emphasis attempted to be made on how he's a super genius. But we'll get to that eventually. Not today, but we will get to it eventually. So right, Kaiba rips the card and throws it away instead of putting it in his deck because he already has 3, and I guess 3 is a perfect number, so he doesn't need it. And then Yugi and all of his friends, because his friends are always with him, even though we love Taya, but Tristan, delete him. Why is he here? We're watching it dubbed. I can't stand listening to him talk. He's so dumb.
Hey Taya, what if one of those security guys finds out we're both stowaways? We ought to just play it safe and swim back. I think I just had a heart attack. Yeah, it's just a matter of working your way up. He's fast for a small guy. You sure you want to do this? If you lose, you give up your only star chip.
They all show up, they see Kaiba do his little thing. Grandfather's on the floor, right? Grandfather is having a heart attack. I imagine because of the sheer trauma of having been kidnapped and then forced to play a game with his most prized possession in life put on stake and then watching it destroyed in front of his very eyes. It was too much for Gramps. Kaiba doesn't give a shit. Kaiba doesn't call for help. He's busy laughing, doing his maniacal villain shit. Luckily, Yugi's friends are like, no, Yugi, you duel Kaiba. You f*** his day up. We will get an ambulance for your grandfather and take him to the hospital. We've got this, don't worry. So I guess that's the one upside to the fact that Yugi always rolls up squad deep. His friends can handle the logistical work while he is busy doing main character stuff. Great. He battles Kaiba. Kaiba has 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Yugi is using his grandfather's deck, which just lost to Kaiba, but that's okay because Yugi is built different. Yugi has the Millennium Puzzle, which does a thing and makes him like 30% cooler and makes his voice deeper, and that's it. That's all it does, but it happens every single time. So he goes, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they do the music, and he has his little Sailor Moon magical girl transformation where it looks exactly the same, but now he's got his angry eyes on, like Mr. f***ing Potato Head. That's his big transformation, but it works. They've made a big point out of the fact that Blue Eyes White Dragon, in this world, in the game of Duel Monsters, is the OP monster of all time. It cannot be beat by anything. And Kaiba has 3, the only 3. So it's like an impossible, it's a David and Goliath thing happening here. Well, well, no, because conveniently, during the battle, they're like, hold on a second, there's a memory I have, a flashback to my grandfather telling me Blue Eyes White Dragon is almost unbeatable, which once, it continues to not be true throughout the show. Whatever. It's almost unbeatable. But there is actually one monster in Duel Monsters that can beat a Blue Eyes White Dragon, but no one ever talks about it because it's literally
never been successfully played in the history of the game ever.
But who's gonna do it today, right now? Yugi, of course he is. I don't know why he yells Yu-Gi-Oh! His name is Yugi Moto. Maybe I'll find out later why he yells Yu-Gi-Oh! He yells his own name like a Pokemon every time he transforms, for whatever reason. He believes in the heart of the cards, which is the most confusing, vague sort of, is it real, is it not? Is it like just a mental state of being a good person and not being jaded and a meta player? Or is it actual magic that he is doing where he is telepathically and emotionally communicating with his deck as if it is a living entity and can sense whether or not he's experiencing doubt in the deck's ability? And if he does experience doubt, the deck begins to shrivel away from him and not want to assist him anymore. It's offended by his lack of belief, but if he maintains a pure heart and believes in the deck, this is real. I'm not paraphrasing or making anything up for comedy. This is literally it. If he believes and maintains his belief that his deck can win, then it will give him better cards. And so, he keeps pulling cards. He remembers his grandpa say, there's one monster. There's one monster that can beat Blue Eyes White Dragon, but no one talks about it because no one's ever done it before, ever. He pulls all 5 pieces of Exodia. He's thinking, oh, puzzle stuff. I had my puzzle box and it's a puzzle to formulate him. Exodia's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. He plays Exodia. First time in, I just spit. I'm getting really fired up. He plays Exodia. Massive, obliterate, goodbye Blue Eyes White Dragons.
Exodia! Obliterate!
But the show said that that is not enough to teach this little rich twink a lesson. Yugi looks at him and he goes, you need to open your mind, and like, wham, and something happens to Kaiba. He goes, you need to open your mind, and Kaiba goes, whoa. Like, Like, it's like someone shot a spirit attack through his body. It's not just like, oh, he's offended at the power of this statement. No, it physically has a physical impact on him. He's on the ground about it. Like, it ruined his day. There's a specific animation of Kaiba while his Blue Eyes White Dragons are getting obliterated where he looks like he's aged 100 years just in that moment. But anyway, so Yugi says that and like psychic blasts him, and immediately after this, Kaiba disappears. This whole ordeal was so intense, and they don't tell you what happened to him yet. You have to watch a few more episodes to find out what just literally happened to this man. Because it can't just be he's upset about losing. No, there's more to it. So he immediately, after this defeat, disappears. He goes off-grid. He becomes a recluse. He's a shut-in. He's barely talking to his little brother who he loves, which I love that humanizing moment, but whatever. He's not running his company. He has lost his identity. He's not coming to school. He dropped out of the Duel Monsters World Tournament. He's done. He gives up. Like, Yugi f***ed this man up. He lost all of his self-esteem, and he's like, I don't know who I am anymore. Yugi said something about the heart of the cards, and then he beat me, and I don't know what that means. Is that real, or is that just him being weird? And as a viewer, you're like, yes, Kaiba, those are great questions, because we don't know either what is happening. Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened to Seto Kaiba in that moment. I'm gonna jump a few episodes and spoil it for you, because we just found out something did happen to him that day, and it wasn't just his self-esteem being rocked by the loss. In the moment that Yugi told him to open his mind and whammed him, he... no, literally, he exorcised a demon from the Shadow Realm out of his body. And this demon, this horrible demon from the Shadow Realm had literally been latched on to Kaiba's soul, living inside of his body, making him evil this whole time. And so in episode 1, Yugi performs an exorcism on Seto Kaiba after beating his ass at Duel Monsters. And now Kaiba's like, I don't know who I am, because I don't have evil thoughts anymore. So what the f*** am I supposed to do with all of this money and power? That's genuinely the dilemma he's having. He's like, I don't feel evil, so who am I now? If I'm not a villain in this show, like you thought I was going to be, haha, no, he's not the villain, by the way. We'll talk about the real villain another time. I have to wrap this up. He's like, if I'm not the villain of this show, then why am I here? What am I? Which, once again, correct, Kaiba. Those are such good questions to ask, because that's what we're asking ourselves as the viewer. So that is episode 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! With a little bit extra, just because I wanted you to know that what happened in that moment was in fact an exorcism, because that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So he got his ass kicked to a new life, literally. So yes, so that's what happened in episode 1, just episode 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is the pacing we maintain for every episode after. It doesn't slow down just because it's not the pilot anymore. Wrong. So, thank you for indulging me. I really needed to get this out of my body and talk to someone about this. Thank you for listening. We will definitely be recapping more episodes in other streams, but that's all I have time for, so thank you.
Friends I turn to love.